Hello, hello, hello. I'm Mr. DZ, here to help you get an 800 on the digital SAT reading section. All right, so we're still in our basic series. Today we are talking about the structure of English. You'll hear me say a lot throughout these videos about structure and content, because sometimes, well, in life in general, in the SAT, but really in life in general, being able to recognize the difference between the structure of something and the content can really help you out a lot. And so here when we talk about the structure of English, we need to know this because if we don't understand this fundamental thing, it can really hurt us later on down the road. And so basically all I mean is that English is a subject, verb, object language. That means first you have the subject, and then after that you have the verb, and after that you have the object. Now sometimes you have an object and sometimes you don't. But the point is it goes in that order, subject, verb, object. Now, because English is a mutt, meaning it's a combination of languages from all over the world, well, maybe not all over the world, I'm exaggerating a little hyperbole there, but it's a mix of a lot of different languages. So it's very rare that we find a rule that's 100% true. And that applies to the structure of English. Sometimes you will actually have the verb before the subject. But that is a rare case, and we'll talk about it if and when it comes up. So you need to know first the subject, then the verb, then the object. Now why? Let's look at some other things. So not all language, a lot of languages in the world, right? Not all languages are subject, verb, object. So in English, we're going to say, I read the book. We have the subject I, the verb read, and the object book. In Turkish, it's subject, object, verb. So we're going to say I read the book. They're going to say I book read. And then in classical Arabic, it's a verb subject object language. So we're going to say I read the book. They're going to say read I book. Now it sounds strange to English speakers because it's a very different structure. But it's not, as far as I can tell, it's not fundamentally better or worse. It's just different. And so recognize that English is a subject, verb, object language is important. Now you might be asking, why should you care? And you should care because if you engage with something and you don't understand it, you're reading something, it's complex, you don't understand it, then one of the first things that you're going to be doing is you're going to be looking for subjects and verbs. You just want to be doing that. That's kind of like a default. Even me, if I'm reading something that I don't understand, and that still happens, you know, I mean, I read a lot and there's still things that I don't understand, you know, and so that's what I'm going to do. If I don't understand something, one of my first tools to go to is I'm going to start looking for subject and verbs. And so maybe I find the verb, and I know, because I know English is a subject, verb, object language, once I find the verb, I know which direction to go in order to find the subject. And once I find the verb, I go to the left in order to find the subject. So that's why it's important, is because you're going to be, throughout life, you're going to be needing to make sense of things. And being able to locate subjects and verbs is an important part of that sense-making exercise. Okay, so in terms of structure, when we look at words, we have parts of speech. So every word that you read can be one of these parts of speech. It's a noun or a pronoun, a verb. I'm not going to go through the list, but all of these words, all of the words that you read are one of these. Now, in the last video, and if you haven't seen it, please check it out. You can find a link to it here. In the last video, we talked about being intimidated. And so like a preposition might be intimidating, or a conjunction might be intimidating. But really, they refer to relatively simple concepts. And a conjunction is just a word that connects things. That's it. A conjunction is just a word that connects things. Easy. All right, so that's the video on subject, verb, object. If you want to get an 800 on your SAT, subscribe and hit the bell icon, and watch out for the next video because we're going to be talking about verbs.